Hello and welcome to Motivational Moments with Donna Hilfiger. I am Donna Hilfiger and thank you for joining me today. And I hear ya. I'm reading your emails. Donna at DonnaHilfiger.com. Continue to send them in. Parents, I'm talking to you today. I hear so many of you, my kids are driving me crazy. And most of these kids they're talking about are teenagers. And they're like, what do I do? How am I going to survive? What was I thinking? Guess what? I had 5 of my own. And I know my kids had wished that they'd been born into a different household because we didn't have an owner's manual to tell us how to parent. They didn't come into the world with an owner's manual. Gosh, I wish they did. And there's numerous books out there and resources but we were never taught to go seek out things like that. We were just taught that this is how you parent. And I've worked with so many people in so many different cultures, and depending on your culture, depends on how you parent your children. I had a lady come to me one day and say, hey, I want you to teach a class for kids getting straight A's. And I said, really? And she said, yeah. She goes, I'll fill the class for you. I said, no, here's what I'm willing to do. I'm willing to teach a class to the parents of why they need for their kids to get straight A's. And she was like, okay, I get it. But it's like, but it's not her fault. That's all we know is what we know. And so many people go, well, gosh, what do my child this and my child that. Start where you are. Don't beat yourself up. Pat yourself on the back and go, you know what? I did pretty darn good from what I grew up in. And I've seen so many people go, oh, I'll never do this. I was one of them. I said, I'm never going to scream at my kids. My kids can tell you, I've got some pipes on me, but that's what I knew. So you can't beat yourself up. Our parents didn't have owner's manuals when we came into the world, nor did their parents or their parents or their parents. But you know what? Right now, you can break any generational cycle that's been a theme that's been going on in your family if you choose to. Just set your mind to it. Right now decide, this is what I don't like and what's going on with my kids and what can I do differently? Number 1, you can pick and choose your battles. Number 2, you can decide that I'm not going to meet my 16-year-old on a 16-year-old level, or I'm not going to meet my 18-year-old on an 18-year-old level, nor my 3-year-old on a 3-year-old level. No, I remember my grandson, the first temper tantrum he had at my house, like I said, I've raised 5. He was kicked. I told him no. That was it. I told him no. I just said no. And he didn't like that. I'd never told him no. He got on the ground and was kicking and screaming and pounding his fist. And I looked over at him and I said, honey, you got to bring a lot more than this to the table if you're going to expect a rise out of me. I said, I raised 5 of you. And he looked at me and I didn't respond. I didn't meet that energy. So what did he do? He got up and went about his way. If you don't bring to the table the same energy, you can't get the same result that you're getting out of whatever situation it is you're having with your kids. And I'm here to tell you, you can raise them all under the same roof with the same values and the same rules and regulations, and you can have 10 or 20 kids and they'll all turn out entirely differently. At the core of them, they've got the foundation and the basics, but depending on the peer groups they get in with, I've seen like stories that I don't even have time to tell on this short segment. But why? Because if they're not getting it in one area, they're going to go seek it in another. I've seen kids who went from being straight A students till another child comes along and outshines them, and then they go off and get in these peer groups to where they're the shining light, and it's not a good peer group. You don't want that for your kids, so try as soon as you can to have an open communication with them. Like I said, I'm sitting here giving you advice based on what I've learned, and I'm still learning. I'm no expert at this, but these are the tools and tips and techniques and things that have worked for me. You can't bring that same energy to a child, and one of the biggest pieces of advice that I was ever given, I didn't always listen to it, but someone told me a long time ago that said, when your child goes to school and they come home and tell you a story that shocks the daylights out of you, just smile and go, really? Because if you overreact, then the child's going to shut down and not tell you anything anymore. You can develop an open communication with your kids. You just gotta work at it. And it's individualized within each and every family because, like I said, every culture is different. So decide today, I'm going to make a change. If nothing else, sit down with your child and say, what do you need from me? Have that hard conversation, or write them a letter. If it's too hard, if it's too difficult for them, they will read it. Trust me, they'll read it. They may not want to, but kids are too curious not to. So I wish you luck, and I wish you the best. And sit down with your child's picture and just send it love. Everything is energy, so start from there. Just sit down and say, you know what? I love you, I forgive you, and I hope you had a good takeaway from this. Continue to write me, Donna@DonnaHilfiger.com. I really want to answer your questions. I wish you all the luck in your parenting.